Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of Tipsy Lips, Spill the Truth. I am Elena Rodriguez, and I'm your host of this fun social night podcast that we are kicking off, sponsored by Besitos Beauty, which is my company. And we are making tonight an extremely special first episode for off as we talk about all things real and raw and spill the truth. So grab your cocktail, come sit with us, come chat with us, say hi if you're there. So I want to welcome the very, very, very first guest, which is an honor of mine because he is a man that is special to my heart in a million and one ways. And we're going to talk about it tonight. This is going to be the very first episode that we get real and raw with you, that we answer questions for you, and that we give you insight as to where we are going with this podcast future down the road. So tune in, get comfy, and let's welcome Charles Prinzen, Coach Chuck, to the show tonight. Hello, Charles.
Aloha, all the way from the west side of Oahu, and although I've already had a couple drinks, salute to
Salud.
this new podcast that is just going to rock it solid, or as they say in the speaker world, drop the mic, please.
Woo, woo,
So
woo. I love it.
congratulations.
Thank you. And we have Karen on. So, hello, Karen. It is great to have you tune in and join us. So, what we're going to talk about tonight, those of you that know me, this is being streamed personally on my page. It will upload to Spotify, YouTube things. But tonight we are just getting intimate and we are getting real with you. Charles and I have come into each other's lives since November, and things have progressed rapidly and totally transformed like so many things in both of our businesses and our lives and even in our family. And we're going to talk about that this evening. So, Charles, first of all, I just want to say hi. It's good to
Hey,
see you.
and I,
Hey,
I got a surprise for your very first episode of Tipsy Lips, the
you
podcast,
you do.
live right here. I'm gonna spill a bean that's
Oh,
been
just
bothered.
one?
Just one. We're gonna because I don't want to get rid of all of them, but this one here you know about, but you have no idea how big of a bean it's gonna be. So you know, in relationships, there's a lot of communication. Must be, which we'll talk about. But this particular one, Ilana and I talked a lot, and there was a time that I asked her, and look, we're going to spill the beans tonight, but there was a time that I said to her, I said, when you come around my family, do me a favor, call me Chuck. And the more that her and I have evolved, this is just a piece of the action I'm throwing on her because I'm hitting her with this because I want her to know this, like very first, raw and real, right from my office or bedroom in Y&I. And the more that her and I evolved in how we feel about things that are going on in our life and our personal and just we've put everything on the table. I want to tell you, you call me any name you want in any environment that you're in because that's the name that you chose for me.
Mhm.
Salute.
I
How do you
love
like
it.
that?
I love it. I love it. So, hell, we got Heather Davis on here. Hey, Heather.
What's up, chicken wing?
Yeah, it's good to have you. So, what we want to get into tonight is we have created a relationships group that grew from 27 people to over 200 and some people, and that was all Chuck. Charles did that. Charles was the growth behind that. But then we also branched off and did a radio show that I was the host of relationships, and things were getting just a little confusing for me. And to be honest, Besitos, my business is booming and it's fun for me. I needed to do something that reflected more who I am, more about the things that I want to talk about, more about fun, social. We need community, we need friendships, but most of all, we need to be truly real that life is hard. Life's a mess, but we can have fun through it. So we are talk openly and honestly about all things. And what best conversation to start the open conversation than how Charles and I came together when I was the one that said, "No, I'm good single. I don't need nobody. I ain't looking for me. I don't need a man in my life. I am building my empire. Like I'm good." And then God says, "You really think so? Because I know what you need." So, how did Charles and I come together? We're 19 years in age apart. 19 years, and we're 5,667 miles away. What the heck? What happened there? What do you think, Charles?
Well, let me say this. This being the first podcast for Real and Raw Relations in Tipsy Lips, let's get loose. We are only who we are. Like, I'm just a man. I'm just a man that has been given a journey by my creator, who I choose to call God. And only he knows how many pages are in my book. And as long as I have another day and another page, I'm going to, but we all have our trials and tribulations. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes. We all fumble the ball. So when you get these messages, or you get these, as we say on the island, talk story, when we're talking story with you, it's about our personal, not just our pain, but our purpose. Mm-hmm. That we actually have seen a transformation from the pain, both of us, in two different ways, to the purpose. That we've been given the same path, and it wasn't just something that happened. Let's just put it that way. So when we talk, we're real, man. We're human beings. What we say, this is not script. This is real. Mm-hmm. And what better way to kick off her new podcast than to be real and raw, and tell you all how we met, how we feel about each other, how the things that we had in common, and I'm going to let her go ahead and take care of that. But yeah, this was meant. This was a need.
Yeah. And the one thing that I can say, because that is a common question. When I started Relationships, the group, it was for singles in their 40s and 50s. And that was just because I was going to be 48? I'll be 49. Yes, I'll be 49 this year. So I was just like 40s, 50s. That sounds good because relationships are a hot mess these days. That's why. And you came in and said, well, wait a minute. What about those of us in our 60s? And I felt your energy. I felt almost like you coming at me, like, what's wrong with those of us that are in our 60s? And I'm just like, I don't know. I didn't think about it. But when people talk about age, and even when you say you don't know when your time is up, like in this chapter that you're in, I had a husband that died at 49 years old. I'm going to be 49. So to me, I never looked at age anyway, because to me, it doesn't matter how old you are. When God says your time is up, that hourglass is out, it's out. So when people have asked me, are you sure you're wanting to step into something with someone that's almost 20 years older than you? And honestly, I never considered age. That was never a factor to me. So when you saw me in my age, what thought crossed your mind? Did age factor in for you?
Well, if we're going to be real here, the very first thought in my mind when I saw you on Facebook, you were at some type of event and you were dressed up and looking beautiful as always. And I went, whoa. Guys know how to do that. They go, whoa. Yeah. And then the next thought in my mind was, dude, You do not have a prayer in the world. For real.
Mhm.
It was real. And like I've told Elena and a lot of other people, I'm known as the Velcro kid. I used to be the Velcro kid, but I guess I got off the Velcro wall because my back wasn't, and I approached her, and we'll let her carry on that. But no, it wasn't an age difference because obviously my bloodline carries a pretty good age for, my dad made it to 86. So we carry a pretty good age with us, but that wasn't a factor. It was just, I didn't, you know, everything you have going for you, which is amazing. I mean, you're just a powerhouse. Uh, that kind of sort of drew me to you. And then the attraction of how beautiful you are. But I never thought I had a
Oh,
chance.
thank you. Thank you. So what would you tell other men that think that they don't have a chance with the person that they're got their eyeballs on?
Go with your gut.
Hmm.
The bottom line is they can always turn you off or block you. If your Facebook friends, block, Messenger, block, Texas, block. Been there, done that. Been blocked by just everything was blocked. Yeah. But if you feel something, I don't know. I just went with how I felt,
Yeah.
and then you friended me,
Yep.
and then I saw your post and kind of sort of did because I was under 60 years old and I got an identification card, just an identification card from the state of California. And when I got it back, on the top it said it was just an identification card, no driver's license. It said senior citizens. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? Wow, that's what it's come to, huh? Okay.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so maybe it was because I thought I was a senior citizen. I don't know, but I never thought I had a chance. I just became a friend, an acquaintance. I
Yes.
friended you, you friended me back.
Yes.
So how did you move on? What about you?
Well, and I think that's important for people to hear because when we started the relationships group for the singles over 40, it's really difficult nowadays. You would think it would get easier the older that you get, but it's actually, I think, become more difficult because everyone is just set. Everybody talks about red flags before they're even coming out the gate. Like everybody's already setting it up for doom before you even give it a chance. And I think the main thing that made me feel even open to be friends was the fact that you just wanted to be a friend. You came out and said no hit. I just think you're beautiful, like no hit. And I'm like, well, thanks. I appreciate it. I didn't take it as a hit. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Let's
It
talk about
wasn't.
let's talk about our purpose. Like we went into other conversation. You weren't all about trying to like date me because I didn't even date. And people knew that too. Like I don't date. I don't want nothing to do with the relationship is what I was
No,
thinking.
I felt you attractive. I got out of. Here we go. You ready for this? Everybody should have a piece of paper like I do. Right here, I got a piece of paper and a pen because some of you that are going through stuff, this is not staged. This really happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like for real. And there's drama and stuff in this. So we only have X amount of time to try to get through all of it, but we want to give it all to you. And how did we get through this to where we're at? First of all, it's the blessings from my creator, my God, and her God, which she calls.
Grand overall designer, my God.
And as we go through our story today, write this stuff down. You're gonna, companionship, partnership, soulmate, uh, acquaintance. Nobody starts off as being lovers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, unless you're in the red light district, you know what I mean? Nobody, but nobody starts out as being lovers.
Right. And
There's
also,
always
we
some
want to
type
throw
of
down here as we get into some of this good stuff. If people got questions and people got comments, guys, drop them down there because
going
we're
out there.
answering anything. We're
But
answering
but
anything tonight. So go
but
ahead.
it all starts with take these nuggets down. It all starts with uh, being an acquaintance, knocking on the door. Y'all got to remember now, if you don't know now, you might as well just say, I am the creator. Well, my father was, but I have taken over I have a BS major in conology from the School of Hard Knocks, otherwise known as the Street. Talk a little bit differently, but you get the picture. So you start off as an acquaintance. You knock on the door, you open the door, you introduce yourself. That's kind of sort of what happened with us. We introduced each other. And obviously, if I thought that I didn't have a chance with her, one, because she's an entrepreneur, she owns her own company. You know,
I'm a mom.
she's a mother. She's a number one author. You know, she's a motivational speaker. She's it. So here I am, this retired widower, thinking I ain't got a chance. However, the prayers that I have put out, and we'll get into that as we go, will always ask for not a want, a need.
Yeah. And with that, we have a question come in and it's on the screen.
Go
Juliana
ahead.
says, how much companionship can you have when you are 5,667 miles apart? Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I ain't touching that one. This is a PG or R rated, okay?
Yeah, we don't have kids watching. But how much companionship can you have? Okay, this is where it gets exciting, okay? Because Juliana, we've known each other for a couple years. And since 2019, I have had a vision and a focus of what I want. I gave myself a timeline to 2024, but I have talked about it. I have worked on it. I have talked about my husband, dear future husband. I have had a vision of how I've wanted things to go clear up to 2024. So the companionship that him and I have is pure. It's authentic. It's deal, because he's not here to just have sex. He's not here to just take me out. We actually have to engage with each other on an intimate level every single day, which I know more about him and he knows more about me than I think we would ever have known of each other in this short amount of time if we just saw each other and did the dating thing here and there. There's no time to be superficial. There's no time to put on that show. That's why I've always hated dating. It's like an audition. You know, you go and you hope you make the cut, and then you come back and you hope that you make the cut, and then what? Somebody decides whether you got the part or not, and you've already invested all this time. And so I think both of us being very clear up front of who we are, what we want, and what we expect. It's like, oh, we're in or we're out. So now that companionship, we've had to get creative. It has been a lot of fun. We've had to get creative. We are learning things about each other and taking risks that we've never ever taken before. It's fun. But the other thing is we have our countdowns. You know, we saw each other in St. Louis. We just got back from a trip that we took in Vegas. So we actually have these things that we're looking forward to. And when we're doing them, it's just our time. Where I said, if he was actually here, we probably wouldn't work, because I work so much, because I'm so focused in my goals and in everything I'm driven towards, that a man here in my space every day probably wouldn't work. So the companionship on my end, from my perspective, I feel is stronger than it would be otherwise. So that's what I got. What do you got?
Okay, so we had an event for BTBY in St. Louis, Missouri in February, and her and I had been talking, and we grew a little bit. You know, we got closer. First of all, I set down from the very beginning, if we can't talk, we're gonna walk. Simple. It's simple. And it is so simple as whatever is the simplest thing that causes you to have a thought about that simple thing, put it on the frickin' table. Put it on the table. Because it's those little ones that you get through that when a bigger chunk comes up, you're able to break it down. It takes a little bit longer, but you're able to break it down because you've already gone through the process of getting to know each other in conversation. And for me, I constantly go back and watch her lives from 2018, 2019, 2020, 2022, because I want to get to know her. And so it's all about communication.
Which I'm going to say right there is absolutely amazing. Because I honestly don't know any other man that would invest time to simply try to learn who I was so he can understand who I am.
Absolutely.
Like people don't do shit like that. People don't do shit like that. That's why you're special to me.
Yeah, look, let's remember, everybody that's watching, our God is an awesome God.
Yeah.
He's not going to give you your wants, so quit asking or praying for your wants. Your wants are going to turn into needs because you're going to understand the difference between a want and a need, and it will happen. Trust me, it will. You know, the other thing is, there was a lot of commonality, a lot of things that we had in common. The very first one, she told you about mountains and mountains and oceans in 2024. We're both widowers.
And we
Her
both
husband,
lost our spouses on Christmas Eve.
her,
Like that.
her husband passed away 2020, 2018. Mine passed away my long time. Second opportunity after being separated for 33 years, I was reunited with the love of my life until she passed away in 2021 on Christmas Eve from her battle with cancer. And I was there from when she came back into my life in 2003 until 2021. And so now I'm a widower. I'm like, however, I want you to know this while we're on this. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my side. I messed up, man. Any of you that have lost a loved one, it's difficult. It's even more difficult when you have them as your parents at 17 and 15. You separate, life takes you in different directions, and you're given another opportunity 33 years later. That doesn't happen. These are divine interventions that not everybody can see. But I can tell you, continue to pray because it will happen. So here I am, widowed. I find somebody that I started talking to in April of 2022, and I made a mistake. This is how I know I made a mistake. And I dropped my guard because I was lonely and I was vulnerable. I had given up intimacy for 9 years. I'd given up a lot to be with my baby, to be her man. And so now here I am, and I allow myself to let my guard down, and she took my heart by we had a little fling, and I had no idea how much it was going to hurt me. It almost killed me. I almost died in West Virginia. True story. And then I had a lot of negativity in my life. A lot. I was living in Northern California, and something told me. Matter of fact, one of my family members, not going to get into it, had a vision because I did say she, but can see things. And she saw something in November for me, and we talked about it. So in November of 2022, I upped myself and moved to Hawaii from Northern California to be with my family. And ever since I landed, I almost died in West Virginia. I wore a catheter for 5 weeks. Thought I had prostate cancer. I was in a world of depression. It was bad. I lost 32 pounds. I made a mistake by opening myself up too soon because I had given it up for so long, and I wanted it. Well, I got hit. I got beat up. I got sick. But the minute I landed on this island to be with my family, I'm the number one of 4 generations. We broke a cycle of families not knowing families from generations before them. We've broken that. But ever since I landed on this island, nothing but positive things have come my way. And one of them just happens to be this lady that's on the screen with me, because I prayed and I prayed. And Elena is my answer. Don't let nobody take that away from her or I. Any ill wishers? No, shame on you.
Yeah.
We're happy. And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and I want to add part of being widowed, being a widow, there is a change in the way that
apologize
you
about the
view things.
lawnmower.
Yeah, that's okay. There is a change in the way that you view things. And what I see in a lot of singles over 40, because that's the demographic we were focused on in the beginning of relationships, there's so much fear. There's already a level of fear, almost this expectation of being let down. Like there's already this expectation of disappointment that is to come. And I have to say that if that is still where you are, if that is still what you carry, if that is still what you expect, then it's time to get in a relationship with yourself and with your God, and really focus on the things that are going to fulfill you and get clear on what you want. And what I mean by that is, when I said I don't date for nothing, I don't want anything like that. Sure, there were men that came and went. I mean, 4 years, that's a long time. There were people that came into my life, and some that I cared about, but I never allowed myself to get to that place because I knew in my gut it wasn't the right time. And I still carried fear. I still carried fear of being hurt. And by the time Charles came into my life, there's zero fear. Zero. The fear that hit me was for the first time in my life. If you get into this, are you really willing to bury another husband? Are you really willing to go? Because guys, that's a reality for all of us. I just happened to go through it at 44 years old. So I had to ask myself, are you really willing to step into this possibility? And you know what my answer was? I'm afraid to experience another day without this feeling in my life, because I've never had it before. And so when you step into that place of not being afraid of the outcome, but simply enjoying the moment, the game changes. The game changes. But I think a lot of people are already worried ahead and expecting, when I hear funny things, and I don't know, Charles, maybe you see these things too, but when I hear people like, oh my gosh, I want passcodes to phones. I want, passcodes and trackers. And it's like, what the hell for? If you can't be comfortable and secure with who you're with, then you're not really ready to step into that realm. I don't think. That's just an opinion. But
Well, I'm going to get back to Karen's question. I think it was Karen, or was it
Juliana,
Juliana's.
the companionship.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
5,667 miles away. As Elena had said, sometimes, I mean, when you meet somebody and you're attracted to them, Obviously, Elena is very attractive. Me, I tell her all the time I'm old. Okay, I'm getting there, and she just wants to try to correct me because she thinks I'm handsome,
I
and I
like
and
the
I
dimple.
and I appreciate that, right? But we have established this long distance affair had relationship had we not had social media, had we not had Messenger or Zoom, it wouldn't have happened 20 years ago. But we do, and we chat every day, even if it's just for a little bit. But what has happened is we are allowed to. I'm gonna get a little heavy for a minute here while I'm on my dime. We have allowed to get to know each other from long distance. So that saying is long distance the next best thing to be in there? Physically, no. In growth, yes, absolutely. Because it allows you, for instance, the the amount of members we have in relationships was all mine. I stepped on her toes. She ate it pretty well. Okay. She ate it pretty well, but I knew that I was wrong. And I apologized to her. And it's working itself out. It actually is working itself out within time. And then there was an issue of, and you ready for this? How many of you have had a friend, an acquaintance, somebody that comes into your life, even more so if you're a widow or a widower, and all of a sudden the question marks come up? And then people that have attitudes. I'm going to be straight, man. I'm a very humble man, probably the most humblest person, if not one of the most humblest person you'll meet in your life. And I give, and I like it. It makes me feel good. But when I've given all I have to give, and you still want to chastise me because I have another chapter in my life, I'm sorry. I still love you. I still respect you. I still care very much about you, but obviously you don't care enough about me to be happy for the next chapter of my life. And so those of you that might be struggling with bringing somebody into your life after being, single for a while, however it might be, go with what you have. Elena and I have a relationship that we work on every single day. I did something else to her that really set her off. And I put her in a position, and I'm just putting it out there. If you don't think this is raw and real, I'm sorry. Go find someplace else. This is it. I actually put her out there to where she did feel that she was competing. She had those moments of something she said that she would never do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? It took a minute. It took a little bit for her to filter it. She'll tell you, for it finally to come through her so that she could filter. She wasn't ready to deal with it for a while, and finally it came through her, and she filtered it.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
came up with a conclusion that works for both of us because that's the whole meaning behind it. Not that you need to fit in, not that you have to compete. You're just going to be here with me. I'll let you take that one.
Yeah. Well, I'll come up on that one, but we have another listener, Heidi. Hey, Heidi, how you doing, girl? She says relationships don't have geographical borders now with social media. It still takes work, but it's definitely long distance relationships. Absolutely.
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 In stereo.
Yeah, like for real, like, 10, 10, 10 on that one. And like I said just a short while ago, this the my sons crack up because like a year ago, it's like, okay, it's been 3 mom, maybe you should start getting back out there, mom. And I'm like, no, I'm good because I work, work, work. And I said, I would love to have somebody that just is so into me, that is committed to me, but that still gives me space to focus on my dream, and that doesn't need me to come in here and take care of him like every single day, because I just don't have that mental capacity. Like I had this whole wish list, and the boys were like, yeah, good luck with that. Like good luck with that, finding a man like that. And you are completely everything that God knew that I needed. Just have to throw that in there. But the piece.
Because I want to answer that too.
Okay, go ahead.
So let me see. Relationships don't have no, they do not. Okay, and social media definitely helps. We try our hardest. And if we're not texting, we try to get in our messenger at the end. I call myself the caboose because you have these long trains and you got to wait and you wait and you wait and you wait and you wait and there's still freaking ding 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 and you're freaking waiting. And what's the last thing that goes through that's going to allow you to continue on? The caboose. So I have no problem being the caboose as long as at the end of the night we have our moment. And then sometimes I push for her to get off because I know that she's spare on time. But there is a big uh, positive that we are far away from each other because we can grow. And I'm not going to let her get away from how she felt about and how she came up with what, because this is us talking. This is real life. Her and I get these nuggets out, man. Write them down. I'm telling you, for real. I want to give her unconditional because I know what unconditional is. I had unconditional for almost 20 years on round two after being separated for 33 years. And I got to partner, soulmate with my baby. I know what unconditional is. And because I know this lady, I know what she needs. I know what she's prayed for. I know what she wants. And I want to give it to her. But it all starts with us being able to do what we're doing now, which is communicating. So you're absolutely right. It can work, but you got to do it the right way. You know, it's not like I said, when I first met her, I'm not going to say it wasn't a lust thing. I'm 67, she's 48. Hello. Let's be real. Oh, right. But no, so I want her we have some time. I want her to finish off what I had said, that I hear her with something big, something she said she would not do. That's breakup moments. That's hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah.
Especially when you say, I don't need to date. I don't need this shit. I don't have drama. And because I gave her, because we talked, you can start over and over and over and over and over, and you keep starting over and over again until you don't have any more overs because you're too old and nobody wants you, you know? So if you're going to do it right. So go ahead, Elena. Finish up on what I said.
When
what I
you had
hit you
talked
with.
about, when you talked about, like, when you lose a spouse, when you don't choose to go through a divorce, because I've been divorced too. So when you choose to break up, that's two people making this decision and you all go on your way. When partner dies, that wasn't by choice. That wasn't something you agreed to or knew was happening in advance. So it affects the families and everyone, the friends, like everybody that's affected by the loss is also affected by what you do forward. They're just going to, because it affects everyone. And the difference, like, my relationship was extremely toxic. My relationship, we don't need to go in that right now, but my relationship was very, very toxic, that I disconnected myself from everyone, including my mother-in-law. I said, I can't do this. I don't want any part of it. I'm blocking everybody, removing everybody. Like, I had to do that for me. So, 3 years goes by. I'm good. I am clean. I am solid. I am focused. I am happy. I am healthy. I am doing my thing. So coming into this relationship, knowing that you lost your spouse, your baby, I respect that. And that's the thing. A lot of people out there, if you're jealous of somebody from somebody's past, get over it. Like, get over it. You're not the first person to his life. So respect those experiences and honor them. So to me, it's like, I wanted to know this person because she loved him. He loved her. Like, I am genuinely good at heart. I have so much love to give and so much caring. So I knew coming into this relationship, I'm not looking to fill any kind of space or any kind of void, or it can't be. It can't be. And I respected and honored that. So there was an evening where we were having a conversation, and I was already like in my zone of, I'm tired, work, business, home, like I'm taking care of everything over here. And he had his vent moment. He had to get his moment out of some drama and some things, about him moving on. And my PTSD kicked in. And I immediately felt like, who's got shit to say about me? What do I have to prove to anybody? I went into this like defense mode, and I was just like, I have worked really hard to create a drama and chaos free life. It works for me. It's what I choose. And if that means I have to remove people,
which you did, like 200 and something.
I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. But here's the thing. In the past, when I was still not healed really well, I would have said, I'm out. I'm done. I don't need this shit. I don't even date for the simple fact that I don't want to be judged or make the cut. I'm really not going to do it in a relationship because I'm supposed to feel comfortable in.
That's less than 3 months into.
Yeah. Yep. But I would have been like, I'm out. Like, good luck to you. I hope that everybody can be happy for you, but I'm out. So
I knew it.
Yeah. So these are things that show growth, communication. But he received it, and I had to be able to say, this really bothers me. Not for the fact that family felt that way, but of what it triggered in me. It triggered my it triggered my self-confidence. All the things that my husband broke down on me actually like felt cracked again. And I thought, I ain't fucking going here. Not going here. And well, we worked it through. We had to talk about it. But years ago, I would have been like, good luck with that. I'm out. I don't need to prove myself to nobody.
And I think the final outcome for you was you thought about the widow part.
Yeah.
And you were able to see sometimes when you have all this on you, all this drama, all this toxins, all this poison, the negativity in your life, everything's just coming at you. Sometimes it's hard to think. Sometimes it's hard to stabilize. So what do you do when you can't? You revert back to defensive mode.
Oh yeah.
Fuck it, I'm out of here.
Yep.
Okay.
That's my safe piece.
well, how do you build a relationship if you don't have to grind once in a while? You're going to have to go through this all over again. So I let her have her time. I did. And then came up one other time, and I kept telling her, it's going to be okay. You got to know my family. You have to know my blood, my bloodline. Okay? You have to know them. It's going to be okay, but it's going to take time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Heidi says, and at our age, we all have a history. And then she says she's doing good, but she's still opening herself up slowly to another relationship. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
But working on me right now, as you said.
Absolutely.
And that's the most beautiful piece. Yep.
So once you feel comfortable with me, because I'm a me guy, me expressing I need change now is a platform that I have based on generational cycles of negativity that I've gone through in my life. So I'm just grateful that I have gone through the journey that I've gone through, and I understand what the pot of gold or the end of the rainbow feels like. And I just believe that I've been given the opportunity to share it with somebody that prayed for a need. And I prayed for somebody to be a friend of mine because I don't want to go out a lonely man.
Oh, and I'm not talking about. Remember that? When because these are things that I'm probably bringing.
They've been gone, baby.
Yeah, I'm probably bringing up thoughts that other women have had, okay? Because I remember when you said how, we do know God fulfilled our needs. He surpassed our wants a millionfold, and it's amazing at when your needs are met, you have more than you could have ever wanted for. But when in the beginning, those little defenses, those little things that seep in, when you kept saying that God fulfilled my needs, God fulfilled my needs because I want a companion. I didn't want to, have this chapter of my life like alone. And I simply said, so could anybody have just filled that
No,
space?
you did. Run, real, baby. I'm loving it.
I'm like, so what? Like, did you actually want me, or was it just that like anybody could have filled that
We
space?
threw some
Because
jabs. Let me tell you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, but I want women to know, well, even men too. Like, if you ever have that doubt, freaking ask. because
Ask.
because when he kept saying these things, I knew where it was coming from in his heart, but yet it still triggered that defense in me because I've got P too, and mine happens to be relationship PTSD. And so when he kept saying God's fulfilling my needs, I didn't want to die a lonely
Like
man.
my father. Like my
I
father.
need
My father was
somebody
a
by my
lonely
side.
man.
So I'm thinking,
Yeah.
well, shit, you could grab somebody that's like nearby if all you need is somebody at your side. I really got that vibe. Bring it up. I had to talk about it. And what was your
That
response?
while we're saying that, put this on a piece of paper if you haven't, because this is right from Coach Chuck, your locker room coach in this game of life. Because life is a game, and when you finally learn how to play it, you will be successful and march down the playing field. Okay, you have to, man. It is so important for you to learn from the lessons that, like, you failed. Okay, accept them. And then that's the negative part. But understand what starts putting a smile on your face, and you work towards it. It is so important to communicate. She was not real comfortable at times, but I persisted. The only way your relationship is going to work is if you continue to chip and grind. Nobody likes to be grinded. Nobody likes to be, but you know what? Sometimes it's needed because ultimately, if you two just end up polishing what you've learned and the journey that you've traveled and the losses or the pain, the sorrow, the headaches, when you learn the difference between how it felt in the negative side to the positive side, and it all starts with communication.
Yeah.
Everything must be put on the table. Everything. Because if you can't put everything on the table, and you're missing that piece to the puzzle that somebody vacuumed up, and you got 1,000 pieces on the freaking table, and there's one to complete it, and you just want to be able to do it because it took you 3 freaking months to do it. You can't find it. Wow. Work on that. And that is, make sure that every single thing is put on the table on both sides, that you agree to disagree, that it's okay to have your own opinion. Those are the keys to a successful relationship that goes from acquaintance to friend to friendship to relationship to partner and ultimately soulmate, which is unconditional love. And that's everything that I want to give to Elena because that's all she ever wanted. And as I tell her all the time, that is my JOB that I was given by my creator because he gave it to me once before. I understand it. It's my JOB to make her laugh, which I do. She even snorts. We'll be talking later tonight, and her sons will come in. He's like, what's going on? She's in there snorting. So there's laughter. There's fun. There's companionship. There's love. Let's not forget that. I don't care who's listening. Get over it. There's love. There's compassion. There's respect. And I don't think that I want to go on any further with anybody else but you. That's what her and I are working on right now. We're pretty freaking close. You can do it too. Do not give up on your prayers. Do not give up on your beliefs because they will happen. If you're a good person inside, you give out positive energy all the time, you put smiles on people's faces, it will come to you. I promise.
Yep, and it'll come to you when you're like, nah, I'm good.
Oh,
I'm
oh, I
good.
don't think I have a chance. And then while we're on that, okay, so with these, and we got to end on some funny stuff here, right?
Yeah.
Guys are going through this thing and then they're meeting these women. I don't pick up women at bars. I'm sorry, that's just not happening because all they want is some free freaking drinks. Hello, let's get over it. Okay, you give them a dance, they give you a dance once in a while, maybe two. You get a little sweaty, you go back there and buy them 5 or 6 more drinks. Everything is good, and hasta la vista at the end of the night. Okay, you go back by yourself, right? But no, man. When you actually find somebody that you can connect to, then it's so important to understand what they need, what makes them happy. And that's exactly what Elena and I have done. And it's happened from 5,667 miles away. And it's going to continue to happen because she has something that she has going on for her that she's very good at. While I'm saying that, please join her for new episodes of uh, Tipsy Tipsy Lips, and let the beans spill, or let the we salute, bring your alcohol or whatever. It's been an amazing time. Thank you, Elena. Straight up, man. Uh, my daughter once asked me, and this was early in the relationship, and I knew it. And she says, "How how deep is it?" I said, "It's pretty deep. I feel it. I feel that this was a gift by my Creator, and that I have to make sure I take care of it the right way, or He'll take it away from me because I don't honor it." And she says, "How serious is it?" I said, "Pretty serious." She says, "Marriage?" I said, "Well, it's a possibility. We're not there yet. We have things to do, but we have a goal, and that goal is to figure out what we have for us, meaning what we have, what she has for her, what I have for myself. It kind of sort of comes together. There's a lot of things that we have in common, working for other people's uh, positivity and growth in their life, giving them hope. So I think that we're on the right path, and I think it's going to be okay. But know this: don't count yourself out. I really did not believe I had a chance with this 48-year-old, right? Beautiful little Latina lady. And God said, "You're wrong. You have something that she needs, and she definitely has something that you need. I'm going to make it happen. You two figure it out."
Yeah, pretty much. You two figure it out. And and the thing, to those that I know, because there have been some listeners tonight, like I said, that I've known for quite a while, that I've watched their struggle and them not being able to find that person or that thing. I was not looking. Like I was not looking. But what I can say is he didn't come at me in the capacity of trying to date or hook up or any of that. That's very common as well, where you're beautiful. Thank you. Gorgeous, all these compliments. Well, thank you. But how about you talk to my brain a
Well,
little bit?
I
Well,
forgot about I
it.
forgot about the punchline. So I'm not hitting. I got to put this in. I'm not hitting.
Yeah.
I wasn't hitting. I was trying to be nice. I'm just a nice guy.
And I'm
Okay?
just a nice woman. So
I'm
I
sorry.
even
I'm
did
just
a
a
post.
nice guy.
Yeah, I did a
So
post a
there
while
was no
back.
punchline. There was no in the bar. It was
Nope.
her that I met. She friended me. We chatted a little bit. We did the 60 or the 40, 50 and over, and I got to go in as a 60-year-old. Everything was good. Um, but we we just felt that there was that we just again, we just felt that there was a connection, and we opened our hearts up to be able to work through it.
Yeah.
Um, and it comes when you least expect it.
And
I'm
when you
not. I'm
least
not sure
expect
about
it.
love at first sight, because I think it's love at. I think it's lust at first sight in most cases.
Yeah.
You got to go through the process if you really want to find love.
Mhm.
Love is not the next level. Love is like down the line. Unconditional love is like way down the line,
Mhm.
and you have to work on that. You really do. And
Yeah.
I'm just grateful that uh, dreams, prayers, blessings come true to those that believe.
Yeah.
That
And I
believe.
want to add, on that listen to your gut. Okay. Like, honestly, listen to your gut. And if you don't quite understand when your gut is talking to you, then spend some time trying to learn what that feels like. Because I'm going to tell you, as we get very real, and we're going to wrap up here in a few minutes, if I'd have let my brain guide possibly getting in a relationship with a man that was nearly 20 years older than me, if I were to look at what society looks like, if I were to look at the numbers that people see, I wouldn't have really entertained it. I wouldn't have, and that's insult. That's not a downplay. That's just like, no, I would have never even thought to look at somebody 20 years older than me. My brain would have said, like, don't, just don't. But I didn't, that never even factored. I knew in my gut. I felt his presence before he came. I knew God was preparing me for this person. That's why I had to keep stating, no, I'm good. I don't need nobody. I'm fine on my own. I had to keep reiterating it because I could feel a shift happening. So get in tune for relationship with your God first and foremost, because that is the most important one that will serve you best. So when Charles became my friend, I immediately just was drawn to him. And then I thought maybe it's the work he does. Let me get to know a little bit. And then when he jumped out about why can't you talk to the singles over 60? I'm like, oh shit, okay, okay. But we were still just cool with each other. We were still just like, okay, here's when you can come on Zoom. Here's when you can do that. It was just still very cool. And then he was funny, and we just were able to have casual conversation because my mind wasn't going in defense mode. That's where my mind would have gone because I've been hurt before. And I would have thought, keep this person away. And I didn't go there. But I also didn't fight it or talk myself out of it when I knew that that's where it was. When I knew I was drawn, I remember the first person I told, I think I'm kind of into this guy. I remember, and I'm not going to say who it was, but I remember showing his picture, and I'm like, we're friends, but I'm kind of into him, but he's almost 20 years older than me. I had to see somebody's reaction, and she was like, oh, he's good looking. I'm like, okay. But listen to your gut, because
And
that's where God talks to you. That's all I
and,
can say.
and my gut was, here it is. I've been trying to say it for a while, but everybody knows me. I have old timers. I forget, but it comes back to me. So I didn't hit on her. I just wanted to show that I wanted to be a friend and I cared about her. So anybody going into tomorrow, all you guys, listen up, man. I'm giving you a special before we leave here. And she knows, she's already laughing. She knows exactly where I'm going with this. I gave her a virtual bowl of menudo soup with the steam still coming up out of the bowl because she wasn't feeling good. She got COVID. She was in a room by herself. And I just wanted to make her feel that she was being taken care of with a bowl of menudo soup.
Then I was
And it
like,
worked. And it
what do
worked.
you know about menudo? I was like, what do you know about menudo? And that was it.
That was it.
That was it.
I didn't hit on her. I just took care of her. I told her that I was her fill-in, medical assistant, MA, and whatever she need. And a couple of days went by, and I didn't hear from her. So I said, I'm just checking what's your blood pressure like. Have you taken any medication or anything like that? Just checking on her using that. But I wasn't hitting on her. I really, honestly, just wanted her to know that she was feeling better. So
Yep. And
that's all I got.
Karen says our needs will be given if we only ask. Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yep, absolutely. So we are at the top of the hour, folks. This has been our very first official hour of the brand new Tipsy Lips Spill the Truth podcast that you will find me hosting week after week after week live. And these are unscripted, these are real and raw talk. So if you have a topic that you want to discuss or one that you want to hear, maybe you don't want to come on live, but you want us to discuss it, please send those to me. And as I get this loaded, we are on Spotify, YouTube, and TuneIn Radio. So you will find links to subscribe and share and all the good stuff. And I just want to thank you for your time. Please your thoughts and your feedback as I build this from scratch, because here we go. You know me, that's how I rock and roll. So thank you, Charles.
Aloha. As we
Yes.
stay on the island, a hui ho kako. Until we meet again, and we will meet again.
Yep.
Aloha.
All right. We'll see you. All righty, folks. Thank you so much. And we will see you next time.